The Lost Crafter, written by Jeffrey 1000, Chapter 5. First Meetings Yet Again. Steve was walking through the thick brush, slashing at the leaves. He had just finished reading the books he had borrowed, and was now heading back to return them. He was a wanted man, but he still wasn't a thief. If the truth came out, then he didn't want to be charged for theft, especially not over a few books. The crafter made his way into the town. It was eerily empty, but he wasn't going to question it. The sooner he'd returned the books, the sooner he could get out. Although that meant it was easier to get around. The last time he was in the town, it was empty when Nightmare Moon was around. He peeked into the library to make sure it was all clear. "Good," he said, upon seeing the empty library. He quickly ran around to the door. As he opened the door, Steve looked around. The massive bookshelves, they stood much taller than him, almost quadruple his size. Fortunately, Steve knew exactly where the books went, and that it would be a major pain in his butt. He looked at the empty spots where the books he had carried once were. The library had no ladders, but didn't need them because the librarian was a unicorn. Either that or Steve just couldn't find them. If there were ladders, he didn't have the time to look for them. He began to climb up the towering bookshelves. He reached the first spot he was aiming for. "One down, 2 to go," Steve told himself. He continued ascending to the next empty spot. As he pulled the books out, he felt it slip from his palm. Right before it left his reach, he grabbed it with the edge of his fingers. Steve paused just to make sure he had a firm grip on it, then let out a heavy sigh of relief. Placing it in the correct location, he moved on to the third and final spot. It was on the other side of the library. "Last one. You could do it," he told himself. Quickly climbing sideways, he made his way to the gap between the bookshelves. Holding onto the edge of the shelf he was on, Steve pushed off the edge and landed on the other side. Reaffirming his grip, he continued down, finally reaching his destination. He placed the book back in its spot with ease. "Now time to head down," he said. Steve descended slowly. With every step down he took, he waited a second to make sure it was secure. He put one foot down on a shelf and waited a second. When he believed it could withstand his weight, he removed his other foot. However, as he did, there was a crack, and he felt the board give in to the weight of his foot. He used both of his hands to grab onto the shelf, but then that shelf cracked. Having nothing to grab onto, he fell all the way down. He landed, taking 4 hearts of fall damage. He looked up and could see many books coming down on him. He curled up and braced for impact. One by one, they landed on him, many not doing any damage, thanks to his armor. However, the large ones did half a heart. He got up and quickly looked over himself. He had 12 hearts left. Quickly eating some bread, he felt the enchanted regeneration take effect. "Man, can I do anything without getting hurt?" he asked himself. Steve got up and quickly exited the library to head home. As Steve was heading home, he heard hoofsteps coming from behind him. He ducked behind some heavy brush. "This is where we encountered the creature last night, sir." Steve peeked his head above the brush to see the corporal, the sergeant, the white unicorn, who Steve guessed to be the superior, and around them were 30 guards. "Although we can't pinpoint exactly where it is, our best bet is that it's somewhere in this 30-mile radius," the corporal finished, pointing at the map with her hoof. "All right, the white stallion started. "Let's split up and search the area."
Yes, sir.
They all replied in unison. The group broke up into 3 groups of 10. "Well, that's not ideal," Steve said under his breath. While he was intent on getting home in peace, he wasn't afraid to fight. He began sprinting home. On his way, he ran to a group of guards. Steve crouched, getting low to the ground, and snuck beside them. As he was walking ahead of them, he heard a loud crack. Slowly, he looked down in horror. There lay the stick that was cracked in half. Ah, crap. Of course. Well, hopefully they didn't hear that. "What was that?" one of them said. "It sounded like it came from over there," another guard pointed out. He raised his hoof in Steve's direction. "Let's check it out. Get your weapons ready," said the sergeant. All the guards nodded. The earth ponies and Pegasi raised their weapons, while the unicorns charged up their horns. The sergeant creeped closer, unleashing his sword. "Screw it," Steve said under his breath. He got up and quickly pulled out his sword and shield, swiftly roundhouse kicking the sergeant out of the way. He focused his attack on the group. 2 unicorns fired bolts at him, which he easily deflected. 2 guards charged at him with their spears, but were knocked back by his shield. 3 magic bolts were shot at him, but he easily deflected them. Steve hit a guard with the dull end of his sword, swiftly knocking him out. He held off several attackers from his left with his shield while deflecting magic with his sword. He quickly rolled away from an attack from behind and crouched down to hide behind his shield. For a split second, his shield stopped getting pummeled. He used the small window to get up, and Steve charged at his pursuers. He swiftly punched 2 across their faces. Then he put his boot into another's face. Taking a quick glance up, he realized he had knocked out half of the guards. Steve quickly turned and started bolting. Several guards went after him. However, they were stopped by their superior. "Wait," the sergeant said, slowly getting up. The rest of the guards looked confused at him. "Get the engine out of here. We'll come back with more troops." "Yes, sir," they all said, as they started to pick their brothers-at-arms up. Steve used this opportunity to quickly slip away. Sergeant Stonehoof looked at him with a look of curiosity on his face. Steve pulled out his fishing rod, so to climb up the ledge of the mountain quick. He hauled himself up and began to cast his rod to the next ledge. As he yanked the rod to pull himself up, however, he heard a scream, and what appeared to be a large bird came crashing down on him. It landed on him with doing a heart of damage. "What in the nether are you?" Steve asked, still confused. The creature looked back at him with a similar look. "You look like a mutated chicken," it glared at him.
"I was gonna ask you the same thing,"
she said. Steve could tell she was female. "I'm a Minecraftian, or crafter," Steve replied. "My name's Steve."
"I'm a griffin. My name's Gilda,"
she responded. "Cool. Now, would you mind getting off of me?" Steve asked.
"Hey, I wasn't the one who pulled me down on you,"
she shot back. "Fair enough, but still, could you please get off of me?"
"Fine,"
she said, getting up. "Thanks," Steve said, getting up. When they both stood up straight, Steve was much taller than her, almost double her size. "While I enjoy a good chat," Steve said, tone laced with sarcasm, "I really have to get going. Got these guards on my... I have these guards hunting me down."
"Wait, what?"
she said.
"You got the guards hunting you down?"
"Well, the guards are after me for a crime I didn't commit," Steve explained. "It's a long story, so I probably don't have time to explain it."
"Okay,"
she said in a questioning tone. "Anyways, I gotta go. See you later," he said, giving her little salutes. He pulled out his rod again and began his ascent up the mountain. Gilda shook her head quickly before she took off again. Sergeant Stonehoof sat at his quarters alone as he thought to himself. It had been a while since they had fought the creature, and the sun had gone down about an hour ago. "Why didn't he kill us?" he questioned. The creature had a sword and clearly outmatched them. So why didn't he kill him? "Someday I'll get to the bottom of this," he told himself. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed this chapter. I'm sorry for not uploading any chapters for a while. It got very complicated. Basically, it was raining where I was, and I didn't want to record whilst it was raining because the rain was very loud. So, yeah, I had to wait until it stopped raining, which took a few days. But anyways, I'm going to try and update this story every few days. I can't promise that I'll upload a video every day from now on, but hopefully I'll be able to upload more often than I used to. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day, and as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.